Maxwell. I'm the Program Director for Community of Hope. And welcome to our Gingerbread Tea. This is our annual tea, and we're so thankful that you joined us today. So behind me, you're going to see the sign that says Hourglass Insurance Services. And that is a business owned by Julie Brousseau. It's in Gales Ferry. And she is our primary donor today. She's not just our primary donor, she's one of our founding members, board, past director. So if you turn over this way, you'll see some of our ladies that have joined us today at Hope House. And Julie, would you share why Community of Hope is somewhere that you are happy to sponsor?
Well,
It's up to you. Ben's over there.
I belong to BNI. You always stand up when you speak.
Okay.
I'm Julie Brousseau. I got involved in Community of Hope in 2005, and it was just a group of people from a church down the road that wanted to help women who were coming out of the rehabilitation facility nearby, Stonington Institute. And we would invite them to the church, and then they would go, they'd spend their 6 or 7 weeks at Stonington Institute. They'd go back to their old homes and go back to their old lifestyle. So they weren't getting healed, and we wanted to find a house for them. So our very first fundraiser was a auction. We raised $250. And now we're in this beautiful home.
Yes.
And we just got a grant, a very large grant, but in order to make that grant happen, we have to raise, what's the number?
Well,
Additional $30,000?
a funding gap because the cost of materials increased so much because of COVID. We still have to raise $30,000 to complete the project as planned, just the bare bones, using volunteer help as much as we can. We still need to raise $30,000 for it to happen, just the bare bones.
And what I love about this house is when the women come in from abusive situations, York Prison, Stonington Institute, homelessness, they become a family. You know, we have a family atmosphere here to where they realize that they have value and they are cared about. And then we as volunteers come in and we minister to them, we teach them things, we teach them how to, we have a clothing closet where clothes are donated and we can put them in beautiful clothing. It really is an amazing place, and everybody who's volunteered here has been blessed. We had one guy who came in and volunteered to do some work for us. He'd been out of work for 2.5 years, and voila, as soon as he was done with our project, he got a really good job. And I could tell you dozens of stories about the way people who are involved in this organization get blessed. And we're not doing it for money, we're doing it out of love and wanting to help other people. So I've been doing this since 2005. This house is amazing. I hope you consider supporting us because we have many large dreams of further and future things to accomplish, not only in this area, not only with women, but also with men. So please consider being involved in Community of Hope as a volunteer, and we will be here, and we'd be happy to meet you and work with you. Thank you.
So you can see why Julie's really passionate, why she's our primary donor. So this is the meeting room. This is where a lot of amazing things like the tea happen. But we're going to show you the rest of the house and where we're thankful where the first renovations were done over 11 years ago and what's going to be happening in the future. It's exciting. So in here, in the kitchen, we have, and that's starting Grandpa's Candy, and this is something that a lot of the ladies have talked about when they've been at Hope House before.
When I wore the hat of program director,
Yes, the original.
now I don't have to wear that hat anymore.
Yes, and that's our executive director now, so she is overseeing things and not in the house every day with the hands-on things, but she's still very much involved, and
I get to do some of the fun stuff now. I don't have to be the bad guy. When I used to arrive here, it was like, oh my gosh, Annette's here, and everybody would run. And now I show up and they all get excited to see me because I'm not having to tell anybody to go to the room or, whatever, like a mom. But anyway, so when when the ladies would come down, I wanted to teach them some traditions. And so this is a tradition that my grandfather did for us every Thanksgiving and every Christmas. And I've taught the ladies how to do this, and they have taken it home and done it with their families. So as you guys get the rest of the tour, you can come back and see me periodically and see how we're making out.
Yeah, so one of the fun things that when we've been talking about the renovation that we have going on right now, we were awarded a $300,000, it's an HTCC grant, Connecticut Housing Tax Credit Contribution Program. So it allows businesses to help with affordable housing projects. So $300,000 is what it takes to get whole house up to code with the heating system, the electric system, just safe. Just the point that it needs to get for this 100-year-old house that has housed many ladies over the past 11 years to get to the point where it's safer and where we'd like it to be. So.
And now the cool part about this is she's going to be showing you the handicap access. This complete area here will be handicap accessible.
The first floor.
Yep, this coming into this room and this bathroom, and that's something we've never had.
Right.
We have jerry-rigged this house together to keep it alive for almost 11 years now with volunteer help, and this will be the first time that it's all going to be brand new. And all of the mechanicals, you'll see those in a little while.
Oh yeah, because when we first started, we thought that we could just walk in and do a little bit of painting. Turns out there was not 1 inch of insulation in any of this house, so we had to tear it down to the rafters and the studs and redo everything, including all of the electrical. All of that was done. All of that was done by volunteers, and all of the materials were donated. It's not as easy to do that anymore, and just to get this down to the bare bones minimums, we needed that $300,000 grant, and in order to fulfill that $300,000 grant, we need another 30 grand. So you're gonna hear me say that on occasion.
The really neat thing for me, as exciting as it is to have this house become handicap accessible on the first floor, which would mean the bathroom on the first floor, this bedroom on the first floor, a handicap ramp to get inside, which is going to be amazing. So it's exciting for me to think about that, but when I hear the stories that Annette has and Julie has of the first renovation here, I think it was this bedroom that you guys said there was peel and stick tile, and you were on your hands and knees, covered with sticky glue.
Yep.
So that's
Like
what these
Spider-Man.
ladies went through. So it's literally blood, sweat, and tears. So we're very thankful to Eversource and how they funded us through that.
Yep.
So we're going to keep going because there's a lot of exciting things to see.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes.
And when we first started pulling, getting down to where we could insulate the house, it was hay and horsehair. Hay and horsehair. And they had 3 different types of electrical. They had it from the 1800s, they had it from the 1940s and the 1970s, and it was all so out. No, inside one of the walls, when we took the plug-ins off the wall, which were waist high, none of the plug-ins were down on the floor. Took the plug-in out of the wall, the whole inside was flat from being burned.
Goodness gracious.
It's been catching fire for years.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
So, but I got a blazer for $150, and
So this area, the next business that I'd like to highlight is Home
It's a gorgeous
and
it is.
the owners, Don, Eric, and their son Bennett, they are very much a family business. They came through a couple weeks ago with boxes, super big boxes, like 2 feet by 2 feet, filled with these beautiful blankets that we're going to give out. We don't just operate Hope House anymore. Community of Hope has been blessed so much by our community that we don't want to just hoard things. We don't want things to get dusty. When it's something we can't immediately use, we're going to make sure it gets into the hands of someone that could use it. So we've had so much over the 11 years, built so much community support that now it's not just Hope House that we operate. It's Kindness Connection, which is our basic needs program. And that reaches out to the community. In 2020, we started telling people about Kindness Connection. We had our Emerald Ball, that's right, it's been a while now. Our Emerald Ball in February, we told everyone about the Kindness Connection, what we wanted to do. We had a $1,000 grant to start with from another local nonprofit, And that was to purchase gift cards and help people with food and clothing and things of that nature. So that was February of 2020. So if you remember back to the fun that 2020 was, very shortly after that, COVID reached its peak in southeastern Connecticut. So in 2020, between when we started Kindness Connection until the end of that year, there were 1,100 people that didn't live in Hope House that we were able to help with basic needs. Food and clothing and personal protective equipment and masks, all those things that people couldn't get early in the pandemic, or because they hadn't had a stimulus check yet. They hadn't had unemployment come through. There was this gap that people had. And sometimes it was just that little bit of help in a really difficult time for them. And we were blessed and honored to be able to help people. So we're a good match for Holmgren Subaru because they really reach out to their community. And they actually, and I want to get this right because they earned this award. They earned the award of 2021 Subaru Love Promise Community Commitment Award because they're so community minded. And so I wanted to thank them personally for not just showing up in 3 new Subarus, 3 family members together. They brought all these boxes of socks and blankets in, and they served from their hearts. So we're thankful for people in our community, even though North Franklin doesn't seem like our community, but we're community to them, so we wanted to thank them. So that's our first floor. Now we're going to go up to the second floor. So this is an exciting part of the house because now that we have the renovation that's officially begun, we'll no longer have to go outside to get upstairs. We have a stair tower that has actually begun to be constructed the last few weeks, and so people will enter the house through the back and they won't have to come outside and get wet when the weather is not nice. So Eversource, we'd like to thank Eversource because they are, like we said downstairs, the business that funded the $300,000 renovation at Hope House. So up here we have another group of ladies. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
This portion, this room is sponsored by Liberty Bank, and Liberty Bank heard about through our volunteer extraordinaire, Kelly Campbell. She's one of our lovely ladies that is partnered with Hope House. She has been talking to local businesses about our funding gap and how, because of the cost of materials with COVID, we have to come up with that extra money. So Liberty Bank heard about that and decided to fund us $500. So we wanted to thank them, and they sponsored this room. So then we have also another business that's been very hands-on with us is Sunrise Home Inspection. So Kevin Power, he is a home inspector, and he has a heart though. This guy really has a heart for the community. He helps with our toy program that we've also incorporated into Kindness Connection, helping kids that have been affected by addiction have a really great, blessed Christmas. So Kevin Power is very, very community-minded. We're very thankful for him. The reason that Kevin's really special to us this year as well is a few years back, he provided us with a free home inspection, and he was thorough. And he told us about all we were very concerned about, things that we knew we had to have fixed at the house, but there were some big ticket items. But when it came to applying for the grant that we did get awarded, we knew, okay, we know exactly what to do with that money. So that meant upgrading the electrical, so it was safe enough to code, updating the heating system, so it was adequate for a 3-story, 100-year-old home, to update and make the windows more energy efficient, and the handicap accessibility, that's also something that's important that the grant is covering. So we'd like to thank Kevin Power and Sunrise Home Inspection. So another business that's really community minded is RSB Kent and Sons. So that is one of the businesses that is down in Gales Ferry, and Rich and Loretta Kent, yes. I was blessed with a phone conversation with Loretta about a week and a half ago. So they own a business. They are very good at what they do, HVAC and heating and cooling. I've heard good things about them, but it's not just their business. business that's important that you hear about. It's their involvement with nonprofits and trying to help the community that they live in and raise their family in to be better. So if this doesn't give an idea of what hearts these people have, is their business holiday party, what they're doing is actually having their own event while we're having this event, decorating cookies. And you're probably wondering how cookies come into play with the gingerbread tea. Well, the gingerbread tea was designed not just to acknowledge the volunteers that we have, to raise support, to do those things that fundraising events or volunteer appreciation events usually do, but also to touch people that are who we want to touch. People in the low part of their life, people that are struggling with addiction, people that are in detox during the holidays. So what we started to do when we did the first gingerbread tea 3 years ago was we wanted to be able to make sure that every single person that attended that tea got to experience what we at Hope House get to experience every week, every time we come to Hope House. And that's encouraging someone that needs that encouragement at that time. So we decided what better way to have people really make a difference and enjoy and think about during the holidays, someone who's having a different holiday, an important holiday, but difficult. So when we planned this, we decided let's not just have a tea, let's have a tea that continues to give. So the first year what we did is we made gingerbread cookies. I believe we made roughly 150 gingerbread cookies, and that was a lot of work. It was most of our board and some volunteers. And then we also included in each cookie a handwritten individualized note of encouragement, packaged them up, and then some of our ladies from Hope House and alumni, graduates from here, went and delivered them to Stonington Institute, their detox program, SCAD detox program, Ender's Island, different programs of high quality in the area that are meeting the needs of people in the earliest parts of addiction. So that was the first year. That was 3 years ago. Last year we were blessed to have a bakery, Flanders Bakery, that baked the cookies for us. I believe we did 225, it was under 250. And this year we were talking and we thought, you know, let's reach for 500. We might come up short, but let's aim high. So the beautiful thing is we have really lived the name that we have, Community of Hope, because we've had to rely on our community. And all we did was request people in the busy part of the holidays, right? That's not a lot to ask. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, who wants to bake gingerbread cookies? Would people bake gingerbread cookies for us? And we, I'm excited to announce, have reached more than 500 cookies that we're going to be able to give out. There are so many people in our community that decided to take time out of their schedules to bake cookies that we're going to be able to put a cookie in 500 individual people's hands that are sitting there in a detox on Christmas. It might not be their first place of where they'd want to be for the holidays, but it's going to be a holiday, if they stick to it, that will be better, make all their holidays forward better. So that's why we name it the gingerbread tea, that every year is not just coming together before Christmas, but also to really focus on what is important, and that's to partner with people that are putting the effort in to make a change in their life, because it's not just addictions, recovery, it's also women coming out of domestic violence, it's also people that have gone through homelessness. So it's businesses like R.B. Kent & Son that we're very thankful that that's their priority as well, and it helps us do what we do and what we're thankful and honored and blessed to do. So now we're going to go up to the third floor. So before we go up to the third floor, I wanted to mention the Charter Oak Credit Union. They have this amazing program that runs from like August every summer until the middle of November. This year it was November 11th, and they have a matching grant program, which means that any person that is a customer of Charter Oak Bank, if they want to make a donation to a nonprofit, then Charter Oak will match that donation up to $500. So I want to get this statistic right, because when I looked it up, I was like, wow, that is pretty impressive. They, in the past year, their matching grant program, so that was middle of August to the middle of November, they matched 851 donations from Charter Oak members that helped 264 nonprofits. That's amazing, because it's things like that that help us nonprofits keep going, especially when there's pandemics going on. So back up to the third floor. Unlimited is in New London, and Pat Todd is one of our biggest advocates. When she finds out that there's something we need at Hope House, there's something that we want to give out in Kindness Connection, a toiletry that's in really high demand, Pat is right there for us. And just as importantly, she's the one that helps us to reach people that we can't multiply ourselves so we can reach more people, but she helps us with all our print products, all our marketing products that get into the hands of people in early recovery, get into the hands of people that end up being wonderful volunteers with us. And we're thankful for Pat. So this is one of the rooms that Pat is sponsoring. This is what I like to call the spa room. I always like to come up and visit the woman in here on Fridays because it's her day off from work, and she'll have kind of like a nice red door spa vibe going on and calming music on her day off. And I just wish people could come in here and hear that. It's one of the things that I love when I come in, just to soak in that relaxation, because when ladies work hard at hard things, like recovery, like rekindling relationships with family, like picking up back where you left off with a career, but sober this time. You know, those things take a lot of heart and a lot of energy, and so they need their relaxing days off. So that's why I like that relaxing room. But this is also a room sponsored by Pat from Blueprints Unlimited. This woman as well, talking about hard work. This is a story that she said I could share. So my gratitude goes to her. I hope she's watching. This woman worked really, really hard. She's a beautiful soul, beautiful heart. And she lost her RN license for certain reasons. And I think we've all had times in our life where there were things that didn't go our way. So one beautiful moment I had about a month ago is her floor mate that has the spa-like room texted me a picture early in the morning, and it was of her roommate that lived in this beautiful room. And it was her standing in this doorway, and she had on a blue nurse's uniform, which she's worn the past several months, but this time she had her name tag showing, and it had the RN. She officially got her RN reinstated, which was a lot of work financially, but also looking for the word, to keep persevering with something. So for her to overcome this thing that she had lost and to regain it and to see her face in that picture, yes, she'd been back at some nursing care, but for her to be standing in this doorway with the RN, that gave me what my kids call happy tears. So it's moments like that where I remember it takes a whole village to help these ladies. It takes sponsors that help us through events like this to help ladies with the extra things that on their own would be out of their means financially. So one of the things I wanted to highlight is, if you're watching this online, well, you are because you're online, there's also a link on our Facebook page that leads to the event for the gingerbread tea. And on the event page, there is an auction. I hope all of you have looked at the auction. Everything that we raise goes directly towards what we do at Community of Hope, and helping ladies with the things that make a difference, that seem small to someone, are a big deal. So one of the things I like to highlight, if you go way, way down, keep scrolling on the auction, and you'll see that there's some giving menu items, and those are things that we kind of have to do a little fundraising for to make happen. Things that go above a room and a warm place to be. And you'll see that there is one of the giving options was for scrubs and uniform support, that $50 can help provide a pair of scrubs to a woman who's already paid for schooling, who's already paying for gas, and that just wants to be working in the field. Being able to supply someone with scrubs before they've gotten that first paycheck is a huge blessing. So I'd encourage all of you that are able to go onto the auction, check it out, and also just scroll through those giving item options, because they really range. There's some that are $50 and things that are bigger, and we're gonna continue to go through the house and you'll hear what some of those are. But I would just ask that you be mindful about that and think about whether that's something you could do. So this is our work readiness center, which is where ladies apply for jobs, update their resume, take care of legal things. It's very, very important. So Callum from Caltech, it is our cybersecurity, which when you were talking about the personal information of our clients, of our women, past women, present women, the information of donors, those things need to be protected. And Callum has really helped us with that, and with also internet things at the house and us getting the most internet connectivity, which is very important. That was so important during COVID. We all think that our Wi-Fi is important, but when there aren't any step meetings going on live in the community because there's a pandemic, and when you're in early recovery and you can't make it to a 12-step program, that could be a really big challenge. So I'd like to thank Callum for the times that he has answered what seems like blonde, brainless, random questions, but he's always so gracious and knowledgeable. So this is the space that Callum has sponsored as one of our kind donors. So that's the third floor. So now we're going to head down to where we are all really excited about. It's gonna sound random, but we're gonna end our tour in the basement of all places, because that is where the hub of activity for this renovation is happening. Everything's gonna happen in the basement first to get the electrical up to code, to get our heating system upgraded, and to make Hope House a warmer, safer place to be. Before we head down there though, we're going to check out Annette's progress with the Grampus candy that she is ready for.
Right.
So we're going to see what your progress is.
Oh,
Well,
look.
It's coming along. It's coming along. First batch didn't come out so good, but we hid that with some wax paper so you couldn't see them. But if you look, they come out a little bit better. So this recipe is very simple. You can do it with your family. It's 1 or 2 egg whites, a little vanilla, a stick of butter, and some confectionery sugar. You make a dough out of that so that it's pliable, and then you can spread peanut butter on it. Then you roll it up, and you cut it, and we're done. And
4
it's a
sticks
very.
of butter were there before you started. Why?
I had another one.
Oh, just double checking.
1 stick of butter, and then you have this really beautiful traditional candy that you can serve to your friends and family. Nobody else makes it, so it's kind of cool because they don't even, most people have never tried it. But it's simple. You can do it with your kids. We do it every year, and we love it. And
Peanut butter and sugar.
yep, so make a
Yummy.
roll when you add peanut butter. All right. So are we?
Yeah, so Annette's going to wash up her hands, and we're going to go down to the
Okay.
basement
Can we
and
see?
see.
Can I show this floor in this
Yeah.
room? Because you were talking
Yeah,
about
the
the
peel and stick story.
tile and us being stuck to the. We were literally stuck to the floor, and we were using these like a spatula thing, trying to peel up this peel and stick floor, not knowing it was asbestos. But look at this beautiful wood floor that was covered with peel and stick tile. You see the floor, the wood? It's absolutely stunning. And the way they designed it back 100 years ago, it wasn't just stuck together. I mean, it's just a design. And the bedroom next door, it has this beautiful, very intricate designs in the way the wood was placed. It was painted brown. A beautiful wood floor painted brown. So we've done a lot to make this place gorgeous. And the women who move in here, they love it. They feel so at home, they feel safe, and they feel loved, and they learn that they have value. That's the most important thing, to learn that you are precious, not only to Creator of the universe, God Almighty, but to other people who will give up their time and their efforts and their blood, sweat, and tears to help you become a fulfilled, restored, sober person. In Jesus' name.
All right. I guess we're gonna start walking downstairs. They'd like to get.
I I mentioned how we'd give the gals clothing because when you come out of prison, you have nothing but a pair of sweats, tennis shoes with no laces, and nothing else. And these racks, there's lots of racks in here that were just filled with, this whole rack here, right in here, was filled with winter coats and suits and business wear, and then we had dresses and blouses and pants and a whole big cabinet full of blue jeans and other shoes and everything you can imagine were being donated to help the women who were coming out of very serious, dangerous situations.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so when we first came down to this basement, basically it was a dungeon. Like, if you can look up a little bit, you can see the cobwebs in the ceiling. Well, this is nothing, because we try to keep up with it now. The cobwebs down here were just so bad, the women didn't even want to come down the stairs. It was a frightening place to go. Always has been. They have to come down here to do their own laundry, but, you know, it's kind of cave-ish down here. And we've had a vision for this to be really a central hub for a lot of our operations, like the Kindness Connection. So where Julie was telling you that all these poles used to hold clothes, we gave them all away. We had to empty this. We're down to one washer, one dryer down here because we're remodeling this. And this is where the beginning, but the mechanics of this house are, this house is 100 years old. So everything has been come in that was used or, you know, put together with nuts and bolts, but there wasn't new stuff. And so, in the middle of the night, you know, it's getting late and the water tank is leaking and we would have to run down and solve a problem. And I'm so looking forward to Faith never having to come here for water heater problems because, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning when the water pipes freeze, when it's, you know, 20 below outside, we would be down here draining all these pipes, warming up the pipes outside, getting the house back in order so the women could wake up to a warm house. And those were volunteers that would come in and do that. My brother-in-law came many times, Donnie Eldridge, to help us unthaw some of the pipes. And so to us, this down here is going to become something just so amazing. Do you want to talk about that? You want me to?
Well, one thing I did want to mention is the basement. The donor that we wanted to highlight in the basement is Nutmeg Builders.
Mhm.
The owner is Denise Knott. She's so amazing. It's not just what she provides as far as a builder and with construction. She took the time to bake 100 gingerbread cookies for us. And the first day, one of the workmen showed up to do some renovation work. He came with 100 cookies that she had baked. So it's not just what Denise does, literally taking our dreams that we think how great it could be, these updates. She makes them a reality, but she has a heart for what we do. And it has been very important to her and her foreman, Steve, to provide the services that they are to us while being minimally disruptive to the ladies that do call Hope House home right now, which is a gift because it is their home right now. But they also are excited to be here during the season because they know it can be better, and they're excited for the people in the future that come here. They won't know what it's like to wake up at 4 in the morning and the hot water to not be working for them to go walk to the bus stop to get to work. So on that end,
And I had the basement floor flooded.
yeah,
It
fun
used
stuff.
to flood all the
Right.
time.
So the improvements that we've had have been amazing. So one thing I did want to point out was the heating system is getting upgraded. It needs to be more adequate for the space that we have. And when Annette came here today and we were looking at this wall, it's a thing of beauty to us because it's up to code and it's safe and it's going to give us enough hot water. And if you look at the bottom of the auction page that I was referring to before, the giving menu, there's several options. And one of them, it's a big option, but we'll take any amount. We'd be grateful for it. It was the warmth support. That $10,000 provides heat and hot water to Hope House throughout the year. The nice thing is now that we're getting this upgrade, it's going to be more efficient, and it's important that Hope House run efficiently because our big goal is once this is running efficiently, is to start working on affordable housing for women because they can do great here. That's important to gain stability and employment and to be restoring a lot of their relationships in their family. But there isn't much affordable housing anywhere, but especially here. So it's important so ladies have somewhere safe and healthy for them to live after here. So it's important for us to get this building running as efficiently as possible. So I'd like to encourage anyone that's curious about that, again, to go to the event page. It's on the Community of Hope Facebook page that you're on right now, and you can see what our giving menu options are. So, yes, Julie.
I'd just like to share, she mentioned something that just triggered in my memories about some of the women who come to the house who were banned from seeing their grandchildren because they've been down on the street corner, you know, turning tricks, quite frankly. And they've been restored, and to see them on their Facebook pages now where they have a relationship with their children, they have a relationship with their grandchildren, they have brand new lives, and they were at a point where they thought they would never see them again. So it's a lot more than just helping that one person get healed and get restored. It restores the entire family. So as you support this ministry, you're going to be amazed.
You support generations.
Absolutely.
Every woman saved is a generation saved.
That's right. Generations. So think about that.
I just want to say that when I came down here and saw this, it brought me to tears. If you only knew the bad electrical system in this house, like Julie had started to discuss, but there's literally wires that need to be replaced. Our electrical has to go from one side of the house to the other. All of these things cost thousands and thousands of dollars, and up until now we couldn't do them. We've kind of been grandfathered in, but now we're getting them done, and that is so exciting. And when we do get this downstairs done, we hope it's going to be a light and airy place to put those clothes. We don't have the funding for that because that's not even included into the grant, so that's money we have to raise. The grant that we got is structural, and this. It may not be pretty to anybody else, but this
it's
looks
gorgeous
like,
to us.
This looks like beautiful couches and beautiful curtains and beautiful paint. I mean,
Diamonds and
this
pearls.
is the best decorating that we could do for Hope House, and everything else is just icing on the cake. But this was the most important part to us.
Right.
That we would always have a warm house for the ladies and never have to wake up with freezing towels on the bottom of the shower.
And this thing, I cannot tell you how many times I personally have come from my house in the middle of the night, come here, laid hands on this thing and prayed that it would start.
Yeah.
That's the heat. That's the heating system for this entire 4 stories counting the basement building.
So over here, you're going to see that there's some wood here, and they're building an entire new staircase over here. I'm sure Faith has talked about this on her tour somewhere. No? Okay, so there's a staircase for our house over on the side there, but the fireman going up to the 3rd floor, has a little height issue there. So we've always wanted to make it easier for people to exit the building in case of an event of a fire. And they came up with this idea to put the stairwell here all enclosed. So the women who are on the 3rd floor come down to Bible study or group or whatever they come to, they don't have to run out in the rain and get wet now in their bathrobe and slippers, because it'll be a completely enclosed stairway that goes upstairs, and it will be completely safe from now on. No one will have to jump out of a window if we have a fire or try to make their way down a very different height stairway. So this is hugely important. When you think about structural changes, I know a lot of people have said, well, you got a $300,000 grant, why do you need money? Let me answer that for you. We don't get the $300,000. It's going literally from the grant company right to the contractor. It is going to do all of this work, and that does not keep the house heated. The new efficient system will, and we will be able to use your money much more wisely because we will be efficiently heating the house. But the money that we need to raise is for that gap, because the cost of plumbing, electrical, lumber, everything has gone up. So we're trying to raise the funds for that gap. On top of that, we're going to go for another grant next year and hopefully be able to finish up the project by doing the barn. We thought that $300,000 would cover the barn, the driveway, and the house. Come to find out, with the cost of living, it only covers the house. So bear with us. It may look like, we don't need your help, but there's nothing further from the truth. We need all of your help. We need your volunteer work. We need your dollars.
We need your prayers.
Your prayers. Prayers are the most important thing, because we would not be standing here unless many, many, many people prayed for this house. And we're breaking generations all the time.
It was interesting too, and I was getting ready for this tour yesterday, and I asked Annette earlier today if she had seen the basement, because I had to go home last night and look at it's changed so drastically. Not knowing what the space looked like before, I don't think anyone could really appreciate how drastic this change is, but we had to look at the floor plan and say, okay, well, where's the door coming through? The really nice thing is, because they're working on the staircase at the back of the house, once the workmen break through this wall, then they can work on everything that's electrical and upgrading the heating without disrupting the lives of the ladies at all upstairs, which is wonderful. But also through that staircase, it'll be a really nice, safe way to get into the other floors of the house. So that's really important. But as far as looking at the basement, this is neat, because the first day I met with Annette in person, because I wanted to somehow get involved here. My daughter, who's now 11, was about 3. And I was thinking, what can you do when you've got a kid in tow and you haven't worked, outside the home for quite a while, and you want to volunteer but you're not sure? So she showed me the basement, which is not where you said I need to stay, but just I wanted to know something you can come in and do and what the options were. And so at the time, there were a lot of old closets that had been utilized from donation and clothing that was hanging. And over time, it got neatened and improved. But now we're literally...
By faith.
But now we're literally, in a new space where we're so excited to know that this is going to be the laundry area, because when you have 8 ladies that all have to get to work, and they only have a certain amount of work hours after work to do their laundry for their next shift or their next things that they have going on. We have many washers and dryers that kind businesses have fundraised for us for those in the past. But to have a dedicated laundry area is going to be amazing. But also the rest of the basement, that's what we're really, really excited about, because like Annette was saying before, this is where we had the clothing pantry, and ladies could come down here even if they didn't live at Hope House. If they had a need, we would come in, let them shop for what they needed, and try to restore not just clothing to them, restore their dignity to them, and give them a space where they would feel dignified. But it was a basement. What can you do? And when Annette gave me that first tour, her vision was, how would you describe it? Like, if we could just paint, somehow get it brighter, I don't know, maybe someday a floor, so that when we're inviting people to come, shop and to restore dignity back to them, to have a space that's a little more conducive to that. So the reason why we're so excited about the basement is this has temporarily not been our hub, because before the renovation, this is where we stored food for Kindness Connection, food that was donated for ladies that, when they first got out of treatment, didn't have their first meal, things that were meeting those immediate needs. So an area for food, an area for clothes, we could take donated bedding, and it makes me cringe, because when people call now with donations, because we're so connected with the community now, it's taken 11 years, and it's at the point, like I said, when I was talking about Holmgren Subaru, that we have a lot of community support. We have much that God's provided to us, and we want to be good stewards of that. So right now we can't store clothes and we can't store food, but we're excited that the whole rest of the basement, that's what it's going to be. So we're excited about the laundry area, but we're super excited about this other part over here.
And can I just quickly say, she keeps saying shop like this. When they come and shop, they don't pay a penny. Just be aware. They're not really shopping. It's all
It's free shopping.
Yep, they get it for free.
So when I said we had to, or at least I had to look at the floor plans last night and figure out where did we have what, where. So yeah, the laundry area is over there, and then we have the mechanical things on that end, but the whole, I'd say, other 2/3 of the basement is going to be the space that we utilize for the Kindness Connection that I was talking about upstairs, and that is how we help with basic needs with people in the community: men, women, children, families, employed, unemployed, disabled, senior citizens. There's no one type that calls us for help. This is Jen Fasano, and she's one of the volunteers with Kindness Connection. So Kindness Connection, like I said, it started in 2020. I was saying that upstairs, and 1,100 people in 2020 that did not live at Hope House. We helped with food, basic needs, toiletries, people in the community. But Jen has also been going to Stonington Institute before she even came to us for a few years to help people that are in the early hard stages of recovery, that have put a pause on their life to work on their recovery. But when you go to detox, usually you just have on what you last partied in. Or you know, it's not, maybe you went in the summer and you come out in a couple months and it's the cold part of the fall, like right now. So people in there, they don't have clothing, and the facilities don't have clothing to give. So Jen, what would you say is like the things that are most requested?
Just basic jeans, sweatshirts, underwear, socks, just an outfit.
And it's
Like
male
she
or
said,
female?
Yeah, male or female. Right now it's cold out. Coats, we're in need of coats really bad because I gave a lot away last year. So yeah, just dig in your closet and things that you
Gloves,
don't wear.
hats, scarves.
Yeah, hats, scarves, whatever to stay warm because it's freezing outside. So yeah, jeans, just basic. People don't wear skirts and dresses and high heels.
Not church clothes.
So yeah, jeans, sweatshirts, all that kind of just casual clothing is a definite need. Men's right now, honestly, men's jeans and women's. I just was doing donations last week and I realized I need larger, like 16, 18.
So large clothing sizes.
Yeah, yep. I could definitely use that too. And
So-
toiletries, and the toiletries,
Yeah.
honestly.
So that's one whole part of Kindness Connection. There's the facility part of it that Jen does, and that Stonington Institute in the future when the growth happens and time allows, because it's almost like a full-time job, fulfilling these requests that the facilities have. So that's one part of Kindness Connection, is connecting people in facilities with just clothing and toiletries. The other part, Veronica Sullivan and myself, we're taking care of the other part of Kindness Connection, and that's going directly to the community. When people contact us, and on our Facebook page, all the contact information is there. We have cards that people give out that will tell that if they need help with basic needs, that if we have something to share, we'll be happy to share it with them. So Kindness Connection is a really important part of Community of Hope. There's definitely been a lot of growth. It's more than one person can handle all on their own. So we're happy that in the future, when the renovation is done, we'll have a place to store those things in a more centralized location like we did before, but we're still very much looking for clothing, men's especially, for toiletries, because they're going directly to Stonington and detox and people in need. So there's very much a need. And we need volunteers. That's important, volunteers to help us, because we're getting a lot of supplies, which we're thankful for, but we need to steward it really wisely. We want to make it efficient. When we get a request from someone, that we get that help to them as soon as possible. So we need volunteers. And the nice thing about Community of Hope that I liked initially that drew me to it wasn't just that they helped women at a time where they needed help, but also that they could use whatever I could no longer use. The bedding, things, clothing, food, anything. If you look at the giving menu, there's a range of what the needs are as far as what people are comfortable to donate. But we're thankful for all the donations. We're thankful for all the businesses, even ones that haven't been mentioned today. There's been lots of people. The board, we would like to thank 3 people in particular that have really helped us get this grant and get to this next stage. So we'd like to thank Kate Carob. She is a nonprofit consultant. She's amazing. She's taught us so much. Her and Kathy Green, if you're from Groton, you probably know Groton because she is a community mover and shaker. She started her own nonprofit about 30 years ago to help special needs adults. And because she had success with that, she wanted to help other nonprofits. So she not only speaks that vision and wisdom over younger nonprofits, which we still fit that category even though we've been here 10 years, but she also does grant writing. So Kathy Green, Annette met her at a women's business meeting, I believe.
B&I, Let's Like B&I, shout out.
So we heard Annette and Kathy had connected, and then through Kathy, we came along with Kate, and we heard from both of them, you know, what you guys do is important, and there's a way to get some help with that. And they are the ones who told us to dream bigger and to not be afraid to ask for help from the community. We always ask the help of the community for a yard sale or volunteering, but for a big project like that, we have been awarded. We had to show we had community support, and we definitely do, and that support needs to increase as we go for what Annette had alluded to, a bigger grant in the future,
Yeah.
and even further down the road, affordable housing for women, and that would include women with children as well. So it's Kate Carob that we'd like to thank, and Kathy Green, and also ECHO, which is Eastern Connecticut Housing Opportunities, and specifically Andrew Woodstock. He is someone that has helped us, has guided us through this whole project. That group helps people with grant funding and how to use it wisely and how to utilize what's available in our community to do what we do and have the support that really makes a huge difference, like this renovation. So we'd like to thank the three of them. We'd also like to thank all of you that have spent your Saturday afternoon with us. This is the COH Board of Directors. So we just want to say thank you. We have Julie, Robin, who is our chair, Jen, Megan, I don't want to block you, Leslie, who flew all the way from where?
Well, Virginia now, but I was in Seattle.
She was in Seattle, now Virginia, but she flew in just for the tea, and of course Annette. So we just wanted to say a Merry Christmas to all of you. We hope that your 2022 is healthy and blessed, and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Blessings. Hugs to everybody.